how much improvement you think from September or so to now with Kenneth? Has a little bit, a lot, and where is the improvement coming?
Yeah, a lot of improvement. I think the biggest thing for him is kind of getting in the groove throughout the game. Like I think especially over the last probably since Cleveland, you see a flash every game, where early on I think when you kind of get thrust into like we need you to play 30 to 40 snaps out of the gate and like first game like an offense you haven't had experience against or just then all the things that come with just playing in the NFL, getting ready for the game, stuff like that. I think the flashes and the movement skills I think have been great. I think there's times a really good power rush, and I think like with all our players, especially the young ones, we're searching for consistency, and he's been getting better each week.
What has been key to Zeke Biggers' development?
I think the biggest thing probably for Zeke is understanding like the mental aspects of things and the fact that with his frame he can line up a variety of different places and do a lot of different things. But really early on, the transformation of his body, just coming out of camp and transitioning from a college zero tech two gapper to a guy that can play across the line for us. Real smart, real strong, and I think he's getting better each week as well.
Coach Zach has had some production last couple of games and through doing the pick stuff that he's been so known for. Is a rush game something that comes with more time from the young players next to him to help him, do what he does best?
100%. I mean, I think, obviously you want the straight rush is a part of things too, right? And I think we've had some moving parts across our line as the seasons wore on. But who you're in there with and comfortability and knowing like it might be a little different when you're in there with KG versus when you're in there with Zeke, and we might be doing different things and stuff like that. And it's comfortability, I think, especially with Zach, if you look at like maybe Wilkins and him in 22 versus 23, like sometimes it takes a little time, and especially with guys you're just getting to know throughout camp, to then now you're able to do a few more things. And, I think what Zach's done a great job of is staying the course. I think last time I talked to you guys, you're sitting there like, oh, the guy's got no production, like, this is Zach. Well, it's not always about that. And then you blink and you got 4.5 here, and all of a sudden now he gets 2 or 3 more, and we're saying he has a great season. The reality is Zach's been doing what we need him to do. We got to bring everybody up, and you got to earn those pass rush stops with the run defense and stuff like that. So that's what we're striving for each week.
Since we're probably not going to talk to you again until maybe around mid-May, I wanted to ask you a big picture question about the 3 rookie defensive linemen. It's clear that they're competent, serviceable players. The question is, how long do you need to know with young defensive tackles whether they can be more than that? Can Kenneth, Jordan, and Zeke be really good starting or rotation NFL defensive linemen? And how long do you need to wait to know this with young defensive tackles?
Yeah, I think I would tell you this. If we drafted them, we believe that they could be great defensive linemen for us. And I think in terms of like where they're at and big picture stuff like that, like I can't speak to that because we're so locked in into what we're doing right now to win the game on Sunday. But what I can tell you is these kids put in a ton of work. They're very smart, and they want the consistency just as much as we want for them as a coaching staff, almost to a fault of like play the next play. My next play is my best play. You know what I mean? And so that's a big part of it. Since I won't see you till May, you going to focus on the body fat? No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. I'm just kidding.
Of those 3, I just want to add one quick thing. Of those 3, who do you think maybe is closest to reaching that next level?
Yeah, I think I couldn't tell you because to me they're 3 completely different players, and I think they're all like where you can play them, like Zeke's role could be a lot of different things, like he's playing a little more big end to 3, Jordan and KG are more nose to 3. Like I think you have a really good thing in terms of growth. Like you got a lot of different guys, you know what I mean? It's similar in a way when you had like Christian, Zach, and Raekwon, but then those other guys kind of rotated through and it was different every year. Like I think we have a really good core group, and it's exciting that they are really young because you're learning new things every day and they're out there practicing their tails off.
How has coaching for you changed, taking on the task of building up these three rookies as opposed to like last year you had Calais Campbell with Zach Sealer. How has that changed your dynamic with your group?
Yeah, I think me personally, how I approach things has not changed. Like, and you could ask the guys. I'm coaching these guys as hard as I would coach Calais Campbell from that standpoint. I think there's things that you really can't skip a step, and you got to assume nothing learning, early on, which is they all came from different college defenses, different alignments, the way they were asked to play the game, and to just take it slow, I think was the biggest thing that I've learned from this. And it's also really exciting. I mean, it's as much fun as I've had any year working with them because you get to see some growth and then you get to see some struggles and you get to be there for them and help them through those times. You also realize that when I first started, I may have known like a lot of the rap music and stuff that that I thought was cool ain't so cool anymore. They got their own things, and with NIL, they're probably a hell of a lot richer coming in than the other guys.
Austin, what do you want your guys to do to Joe Burrow? And I mean this from the standpoint of maybe a couple of other elite quarterbacks, Lamar and Josh. You want to kind of corral them and make sure they don't run it. And maybe it's different with Stafford and Burrow. But what do you want to do with Joe Burrow from that standpoint?
Yeah, I would tell you, like, Joe Burrow is a great athlete. He's a phenomenal quarterback. He gets rid of the ball on time, and I think he's got great field vision. And I think just the biggest thing with them is, they have elite skill players. They have a veteran center, Teddy Karras, who was here at 10 years. So they present a lot of different problems. Like, it's not just if you can just stop this one thing. And the play extension is there with him. I mean, a lot of people forget, like, I think it was the Giants game last year, he ripped off like a 60-yarder. Like, you can't go to sleep on his mobility at all, and it's going to be a big challenge for us.
I have one more thing for you, just on the three kids. Sorry to call them kids, on the three rookies. Will you, in exit meetings that Mike typically has with players, will you meet individually, separately with Jordan and Zeke and Kenneth? And is it your style generally as a coach to give each of them a list of things, whether it's written or delivered orally, of things you want them to work on between now and when you see them again for OTAs?
Yeah, what I would tell you, Barry, to be honest with you, we do that every single week. That's our debrief for the game is – here's the things, and that part is not individually. It's in front of everybody. Here's how you did. Here's what you did well. Here's the things I think you need to do better, okay? Here's a grade that we put on how you played and, more importantly, how we played. And here's the things you need to do better. And when we get to the end of the season, we'll do whatever coach wants to do there, and we'll go from there. But last thing, man, I know you guys are big ACC people. The Cal Bears got a new head coach. Shout out my guy, Tosh Lupoy. Okay, can't wait for them to come down here, man. I know we're Miami fans, but go Bears, man.